Evening all. I wasn't streaming for some reason. I don't know what happened. It seems to have come back on though. So let me know if you can see me and hear me and all that. Looks like I'm on. Well, there's a bunch of you in all night already. All night. Obviously desperate for something. How's everybody tonight? As I say, let me know if you can A, hear me, and B, that we are actually streaming and it's working alright. Just for some reason. Technical issues. Let's see what we got. Go for it painting. Hello to you. John, hello. Good afternoon from an stupidly muggy South Florida. Evening, Andy. Evening, David. You're tearing away from your pub to get back to work. E3 Scratch Built 6 Mill Farms. Across the pond, Colin. Hey, Colin, good to see you. Nice to have you on board. Good evening. Jones, pretty much the same in Alabama? Who knows? Alid, evening, paying extra. Soviet section of figures for Gamer Chain of Command Club, 1941 Barbarossa based. Excellent. Got to be a weird sheet on the table now. Found some old orangutan images for Space Weirdos I need to put together. Interesting. Crackly on sound. Audio is off. Interference on it. Okay. I wonder what that's all about. I'll tell you what. I've got a bit of interference happening. I don't know what's happened with that. Maybe. Is that better? Let's see. Technical issues. Alid says it's all good sound. Hit the like button. Absolutely. Satchel. Evening. Carl says evening for only 20 minutes. No worries. Going to take your daughters to the scouts and just tidying up a bit. Frostgrave archers and people. Tell me if the sound has got better. Andy. Evening. Andy Rawson. Satchel, where he said Duke Wellington. Good day from Oz. Clearer. That's better. I think it's because he was up against the metal pole of my camera. There we go. We sorted it. Painting some troll bases and some grass and rocks to the bases. Good stuff. A bit better. Back on again now. There we go. Good stuff. Right. Evening all. Being French World War II cavalry. Taking a nostalgic trip to Impaled Nazarene. Excellent. Which album? Toll Comp Nose. That's the best one. So tonight I'm kind of just doing a little bit of prep. Really, I've kind of got some. Well, what do you mean by not perfect on the sound? Because I can't hear it. I've got some Napoleonic casualties that I got from Eureka ages ago that have just been sat in a bag for a long time. So I thought what I'll do is I'll try and prep these. Some of these can be used as quite nice little vignettes for sharp practice. I'm also painting some sounds back while she were moving stuff about. Back to the interference now. Alright, well I'll tell you what. I'll try a different tack. Trying to find what I've got here. Maybe this one. No, that's too quiet. I don't know what I've got set up here. Here we go. Any better? No. I haven't got anything else that's working, I'm afraid, folks. You might have to bear with it. I'm not entirely sure what I've done or not done, because I was using this microphone earlier and it was working fine. So I don't think it's the mic. We've got some noise coming through there. Maybe that's better. Give me a sec. Glad you cleared it as a band, not something more because of painting. Beeping. It disappeared when I moved something. All that you fear. Okay, I don't know that one. It's okay now, so don't move anything. There we go. Maybe you just needed unplugging and replugging in. That's probably all they needed. Right. As I was saying. There we go. Thanks, everybody. Oh. Right. as I was saying, I'm painting some Scottish Highlanders for sharp practice. So I've started 10 over there. Unfortunately, I've run out of white paint. Hi, Jeremy. So I can't actually do any work on the ones that I've kind of got to a point where I need the white on them now. I don't know if you can see these yet in the camera, but they just need the straps and things doing, and then I can actually give them a wash and get on with them. So I've got these ones here that I've kind of just prepped, but I've got some crappy white paint, but it's difficult to explain. Basically, I can't use it with a small brush, but I'm just waiting for some. Evening, Richard Hogg. I have turned it on and off again. I've done it, and it worked. So the other thing I've got are these. These are from Eureka. These are some 18mm Napoleonic casualties. As I was saying, these can be little vignettes or little characters for sharp practice. So there's guys here carrying stuff, and actually. It's good that you're here, Richard, because I've been making some efforts here with the house, the black and white house from Singapore. So I'm probably going to do a little bit more on that later on. I think that's as far as I've got with it so far. It still needs a lot of weathering and a bit more bits and pieces. Just put the Blue Moon French Field Hospital. We're getting the Piano War Games Marshall Lanners to create a nice diorama. Oh, that's a good idea, actually. Yeah, getting the Piano War Games stuff and doing it in 18mm instead of whatever it is, 28mm. He does it. I could probably ask old Paul over at Sabotaged if he'd do me a few bits and pieces, because I've been thinking about doing the 1809 stuff anyway. Evening, Dom. Good to have you on board. Because of having visited a few of the battlefields whilst in Austria, it's kind of give me a little bit of a pep up, and I was talking about it the other week whilst we were over in Belgium, talking about Thunder on the Danube. The house looks good. Thank you. It's only black and white at the moment. It needs, like I say, a lot of weathering on it at this point. It's getting there. I just haven't got there so far. That's the problem. So, like I said, first of all, I'm just going to prep some of these figures, I think. I must have prepped them before, but I'm kind of wanting to get all this Napoleonic stuff out of the way at this point. Evening, Andrew. Epic. Did nothing on the variants yet. Got distracted. Oh, don't worry about that. It's good enough that I've got one, at least. Andrew, nice to have you on board. Singaporean house looks great. Thank you very much. I'm just slapping paint on it. It's mostly down to Richard for designing it in the first place, to be honest. He did all the hard work. And it looks excellent, I think. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of work on that. Probably a little bit of weathering here and there and some bits and pieces. But first of all, I'll get these fellas on some bases, and I can go from it from there. The question I was going to ask tonight, it's kind of a quick question, really. I've kind of made enough videos now to run me up to Christmas. And as is my tradition, I like to do a Christmas video. A Christmas battle report, in fact. I did a Battle of the Bulge a few years ago. I did Battle of Bullecourt because it had snow in it. I think that was last year. Can't remember if I did one the year before. I think it was O Group in on the Eastern Front. Yeah, it was with Romanians. What would you like to see this time around? I'm looking for ideas. What happened with that nice shortwave radio sound effect? It's gone. We sorted it out. So I'm looking for ideas at the moment. I'm just kind of thinking about it. What's the video going to be for this year? Any suggestions? Obviously within the realms of the figures and things that I own, that would be that's always going to be useful. But, yeah, I just can't really think of anything about Bag the Hun, Pearl Harbor. Unfortunately, I haven't got enough stuff for Pearl Harbor. Well, I suppose I have. I've got all the Japanese aircraft. I just haven't got the American ships. But I can't remember the date that the Russians for Napoleonics. No, I don't. Unfortunately, Retreat from Moscow game in Blucher. No, I don't. I don't have any Russians in Blucher. I'm afraid. I should do, but I don't have. I've only got British and French. Well, British, Anglo-Allied is the correct term, isn't it? Given the Yorkshire's result, chain of command World War Two. Well, I just did a one of the games was Battle of the Bulge was a chain of command from a couple of years ago, and it was good because I got to say my bulging cock through the mud and blood. Sabutio mashup of the Christmas truce. No. Do you have AWI Washington across the? No AWI. As I said, it has to be within my realms, which are basically First and Second World War and Napoleonic. And for the Napoleonic, it's 100 days war, so 100 days campaign. So it's the stuff in the middle, really. So summer stuff. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe the attack on not on Pearl Harbor, but I can't remember what the date of the attack on the Hood, not the Hood, the Prince of Wales and the repulse was. It was, I think it was January 42, but I could be wrong. It was certainly between December and January and February, that's for certain. But I can't remember the exact date. O Group, 6th Airborne in the Bulge. Potentially. I don't actually have that many American airborne, though. Not for O Group anyway. I've got them for Chain of Command, but not for O Group. Mud and Blood. That's potential. Andy's idea of the attack on Pearl Harbor has got me thinking, though. That might be a potential, even though it was summertime where it was. And yeah, I did a Mud and Blood game last year. That was the Battle of Bullecourt with the tanks, Australians and tanks. Narvik, don't have any early war, I'm afraid. Battle of Hong Kong, 41 in Chain of Command. I did think of that because that fell on Christmas Day, I think, didn't it? Hong Kong. But 2 section platoons for Airborne with O Group. Well, you probably do, Dave, but I don't have those. I don't have. The only airborne stuff I've got is single based. I don't have anything with multiple bases, and I couldn't use normal infantry as airborne. I get hounded off YouTube. Yeah, Hong Kong. I'm sure he fell on the 25th of December, didn't I? I'm fairly sure it did. Sad times. I know. It's I will change it at some point. There you go. Buried in my brain somewhere. There was that knowledge. You can still have snow, can't you? Even in Hong Kong. Don't see why not. What do you think? What do we think? Hong Kong and snow. Right, I'm going to make a tiny base for this. These 3 fellas here. These are almost like the classic esky Scottish guys carrying each other from their British Napoleonic sets. Just trying to find a little piece of plastic. I can cut him down to a little base for these. That's a bit too big. Battle of Muir, 42. I think I've done some Muir stuff before. That's the Australians with the against the Japanese light tanks. For those that don't know, Australians turned up with 2-pounder guns and knocked out a load of Type 95 Japanese tanks. I think I've played it before. I can't remember. I'm sure I have. Santa Bandits versus Jewish Dread on your mag module, potentially 14th to 22nd of January. It's close. It's within the. It's in the Christmas period. Yeah, Battle of Muir is an interesting one. So there you go. That's that was my question. At least I've got a few ideas there. What I'll come back to, I'm not sure. Did anybody find out when the HMS Repulse was sunk? Well, can tell me because I can't remember off the top of my head. Heroes of Telemark, always on the telly at Christmas. Well, that's true. Operation Northwind, New Year's Day 45. Some good stuff. Some good suggestions here. Keep them coming. Also, everybody, tell me what you're painting tonight. That's the other thing. What's on your painting table? I know some of you have already said it. What's the rest of you doing? Oh, sorry, just concentrating while I'm cutting this thing. I can't do the Heroes of Telemark because I don't have any British Commandos, unfortunately. Another thing missing. 10th December for the Repulse. Okay, 10th December, there you go. 2 weeks before. No painting, scenario writing. What you're writing, what scenarios you're writing. That's very exciting. Hit the like button, everyone. Absolutely, hit it. Go on, 70-year-old Mr. Brown. What's his scenario you're writing? Don't be shy now. Where's my bits and pieces? Where's this? Where are they? There it is. Yeah, there's 26 of you watching and only 13 of those likes. Hit that like button. Get those likes up there. So I'm just making this little base here for these fellas. Stick these on a wee base. I'll probably actually be able to get some polyfiller onto some of these figures now, and I'm going to hit. Then I'm going to have a look at this house, I think, see what I need to do on it. I'm kind of at the point where I'm not entirely sure what to do with it. I've painted everything black and white, and I'm just wondering what to do with windows, or to leave them as they are. Just finished 56 zombies and a batch paint for your lazy son-in-law. Wow. 56, eh? Is that with speed paints or with I'm assuming you didn't spend a huge amount of time. What's that for? Zombicide or something like that? Right, just get these little lads on here. Carrying somebody. Because, as I said, stuff like this will be very interesting to be very usable in sharp practice, like as a either as random events or people to go and rescue, that kind of stuff. Because the problem with doing games in these kind of scales, I always find, is you don't always get a lot of interesting characters or anything. And I've asked the guy who does the sculpts at Eureka if he's ever going to do any civilians in 18mm, Napoleonic civilians, because that would be great. How are you getting on with your rules musing? I'll come back to that. After we took the kids to Disney World, she had been obsessed with the Lion King, so I'm painting African animals. Playing Mammalian Mayhem, written by Chris Pierce. Okay, I've never heard of that. The Gastron Raid. Jotunzval, Makazavari, Markayavi, 23rd February 40. Worth reading up anyway. I'll have a look into it. Zombicide 2. Homemade speed paints. Young Mr. Brown. It's a big project for GDA 2, not just a single scenario. Highly classified. Okay, young Mr. Brown. That sounds interesting. I've kind of got a bit of a side eye on GDA. I've been thinking about it after our trip last week, and I was just thinking perhaps I could get into some large-scale Napoleonic stuff as well. Obviously in 15mm, of course. I played the GDA 1. I've only played it once at the club, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, I've kind of been thinking about it. Just thinking about it. For my rules, Andy. Andrew. I never know if you want to be called Andrew or Andy. I don't know. Yeah, I've kind of got some stuff down, and I actually played a game of it on Saturday, in fact. Only joking. Ask away if you want. Oh, good. I'll let the others in chat ask. Anybody else interested in GDA 2? What do you want to know? You've got Chris here. He can tell you all about it. Yeah, I played a game of it on Friday with the new rules, with some new ideas. The young housewife's choice, and yeah, they worked well. I probably might need to tweak some bits and pieces here and there. It was mostly using the chain of command points rather than the full chain of command dice, so you could actually spend them beforehand. As long as it's not rude. Very tempted by GDA 2. Yeah, I am. I'm thinking about having a look at it myself. Like I say, I just kind of feel maybe it's time to do some bigger 15mm Napoleonic stuff. Very much like sharp practice, of course, but also it's nice to be able to move around, 24-man battalions and things, isn't it? So there's a question for you. How many figures do you need for a game of General d'Armée 2, Chris? How many is it? Is it on average? Let's say with a 24-man battalion. There's a pertinent question, I think. But yeah, and what I want to do is I want to create some scenarios for trench raiding. So that was kind of the thing I was working on a little bit, and just having it. You basically, instead of having a set amount of figures, you roll up the numbers of sections you have and how many men are in those sections, how many leaders you have as well attached to it, because they were on occasion they were pretty ad hoc events. Can't wait to get your hands on GDA 2. There you go, you got a couple of fans here, Chris. They're all ears. They don't ask very much, but they are all ears. So the idea is, you don't exactly know what you're getting, and then also when the defenders react, they also will be rolling on tables to see what they get as well. So neither of you actually know. So I thought it's not going to be the central part of the rules, but it is. I think it's going to be it's just a little idea I'm kicking on about. Bigger, like Leipzig and 2mm. No. I mean in 15mm. Well, not Leipzig, for God's sake. It'd just be nice to have some. I've never really had it before, a large army of 15mm Napoleonics, but with everything, it's the dauntingness of painting them. I mean, I've got 40 Scotsmen here that are going to take quite a while, I think, to paint. But it's not like just painting greys on Germans or greens on Americans. It's a whole different ball game. I was even contemplating looking at the Warlord Epic stuff, but I don't like how they're laid out in lines. I don't like the aesthetics of it. Just don't appeal to me. I don't know why. There's just something about it that just doesn't click in my head. It's just me. But they would be probably quite quick and easy to paint. And they do look very nice when they're painted up as well. Yes. So that's my thoughts on that. What's everyone else's thoughts on that? That's why my most Napoleonics are in grey coats. Yes. That's a very good point. Yeah, just have it raining all the time. Or just do Austrians. Let's just spray everything white. Nice and easy. But yeah, it'd be nice to do something with GDA. It'd be nice something outside the Waterloo campaign. Like I say, maybe the Austrian campaign, the 1809 campaign, and just do something completely different. For me, I mean, for me. But 10mm for GDA 2 for you. That's a good idea, but as with everything, it is always comes back to scenery, and having a shitload of 15mm scenery. There's not much point me doing anything else, I don't think. At least I don't think there is anyway. I need to put these guys on bases. 6mm Napoleonics painted in your youth, 10 times harder than ACW film. I find them quite easy. I painted at this point 7,000 15mm Napoleonics, 6mm Napoleonics. I thought they were quite easy. It's therapeutic. But then I haven't painted American Civil War in 6mm, so I don't know what the. I've got nothing to measure it against, I'm afraid. And that's the thing. There we go. Yeah, some of these fellas are quite nice little characters on their own. They're supposed to be injured, but they don't have to be injured, do they? Just because they haven't got a hat on. That's what I think. And these Eureka sculpts are so nice. Absolutely lovely. They really are. They are the best out there, by far. Sorry, just concentrating while I'm putting these last bits on here. There we go. Do these ones here. Infantry 12 battalions times 24, 288. Cavalry 6 regiments times 12, 72. Artillery 6 guns times 24. Maybe I'll just do one, because otherwise people will be turning up with unpainted figures, and that would be no good. Just wouldn't be right. Right, there we go, that's them done. Right, so I'm going to put these individual casualties on bases themselves as well. That's going to make it a lot easier for me to be able to actually paint them as well, if nothing else, which is always a bonus. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 of them. Some are British, some are French. There's a bit of a mix. Blue-grey flesh, guns, a bit of kit, wash and done. That's about it. Yeah. Yes, I suppose that's the difference, isn't it? So I find a piece of old crappy piece of stuff. I'll mark this up. Well, the other thing that I did earlier on is I finished off a video of painting British infantry for Malaya, because I did that platoon the other day. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll paint a figure on its own, and I can turn it into a video, painting video. 3 attempts I had to have at it. Can you believe that? 3 bloody attempts. I had to strip the figure 3 times, because every time I filmed it, the shots came out blurred. So I had to go back every time and refilm it. But I finally got it done, and I was able to before I came on tonight, I was able to do the last bit of editing on it. So that is actually my first video for the new year. That's going to come out in January time. A long way away. So I was trying to get as many videos put together over the last couple of weeks as possible. I've kind of done it now. Quite a few in the bag. That's why I was on about the potential Christmas video. That's them and them and them. Where's me snips? There we are. We're all very quiet out there tonight. What's up with everybody? You're just concentrating on painting. Listening to me witter on tonight. So look. There we go. There we go. Clean that off. I got these the Fizzers Men of Metal. These Scottish. I got them as a tester. 40 of them, which is enough for sharp practice. So there's about half are line infantry, the other half are skirmishers. So there's enough for them as well. And they're quite nice. I mean, they're not Eureka standard, but they are very nice, and they do fit together as well. Keep dropping bits on the floor. How am I finding Blue Sky? I like it, Andrew. It's a nice platform. So far, it's a lot calmer than Twitter is these days, and it's good that most of the, well, not most, but a lot of the wargamers from Twitter seem to have migrated across at this point. I know a lot of people are waiting for invites and stuff, and if I had them to give out, I would give them out. But I think the one thing I don't like about it is that when you click on it, it takes a few seconds to load up. I don't know if you find that, the app on the phone anyway. Whereas like Twitter, because it had such good service, it was just, you know, you just basically just straight onto it. Whereas Blue Sky takes a little while to load up, and also, I mean, these are really nitpicking things, but they're kind of stuff that sell or make or break an app. And I think it was the notifications. So when it says like you've got 17 notifications or something, you click on it and it doesn't disappear like it does on Twitter, because I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to notifications. Finished some Japanese Shrine Maidens, currently working on some Samurai Ninja. Exciting. The terrain that's more work for ACW. Not many open battlefields in the war. Trees, and more trees. Those precious seconds. Yes, there is. That's the difference. I mean, that's what I say. It's nitpicking, but it is, you know, in today's day and age, when you're waiting for something to open an app, things should be instantaneous. And it does sound like nitpicking, but you know, it's like, it's the kind of thing that would turn people off. That's the twat fills are starting on, possibly. Probably keeping me out. But yes, overall, it's much better than Twitter. But I've kind of, I've kind of stopped, not stopped, but I've kind of pared back the social media at the moment. That's not to say that I'm not always on it. It's just I'm trying not to get caught up in stuff. I think that's the main thing. It's just the fact that I'm not. You know, you can get sucked into rabbit holes quite easily, and it's nice to chat to people on there, but it doesn't also stop you from doing other stuff as well. That's the problem. So I'm kind of in between at the moment. And also, because it's either I spend waiting seconds for blue sky to open up, or I make videos on YouTube. And which is it going to be? That's the question. Which do you want? Add up all those seconds that I've waited for blue sky to open. Eventually, that will be a 2-hour long video, wouldn't it? So you see, not so funny now, is it? But yeah, I definitely recommend it to anybody who is of the wargaming slant, and there is a lot of lardy stuff on there, which is good. It seems a lot of the lardy folk from Twitter have gone across, so that's good. It's good to see what's going on. And I saw that Rich was showing off the in the buff rules that he's been talking about recently, which for those that don't know is the English Civil War skirmishes. Alright, that's them 4 done. God, these are taking much longer than I expected. Ooh, casualties. What I should do is put dice for them, shouldn't I? And have them as shock markers. See, if I'd thought about it, that's what I would have done. But I didn't think about it. Oh, look at that, perfect. There we. This war room is going to be full of tiny little triangles of plastic from when I'm snipping off these plasticard things, the corners of my plasticard bases, working their way into the waterways eventually. Oh yeah, I've got 3 of these little fellas to do, and then I am going to turn my attention back to this house, because like I say, until that bloody white paint turns up, I can't actually do anything. Because for the Napoleonics, I like to undercoat in white, because I want nice bright colours for the uniforms, for red in particular. It's a good undercoat for red. There we go, there's another one. Get these lads out of the way. Wife off a flight. I'm going to London for a few days because she starts her new job on Monday, next Monday. So we're going to take a few days and have a little celebration down in London town. So I'll be travelling down there on Thursday, I'm afraid. Week after I should be back in, because I've not actually been to the club for ages. Can't remember last time I went. Last week I was doing a talk, so I missed it. Then week before then, I can't remember what I was doing. Week before then, I was doing something though. But that put me, stopped me from going as well, unfortunately. Yeah, so it seems that every time it's Thursday has fallen. Are you going down, Dave? Are you taking a game across or something? But yeah, I definitely won't be there for at least a week. I think I owe Dex a game of Chain of Command for Kursk. I think that's what we talked about. So that's what I'll be doing next, I should think. We haven't played the next part of our campaign for a while. The last couple of times I've been down, I took down I Ain't Been Shot Mum, so we're playing that. So I want to get back to Kursk. Oh dear, you've sliced your finger with a scalpel. It's not too deep, is it, Andy? How's retirement treating you? Anyway, you seem to be getting on with a lot of figure painting, which is nice. Are you still waking up at crap o'clock? And have you fished those First World War Germans yet? And if not, why not? I don't know if you know, but Sydney Roundwood has a very good painting guide for 28mm Germans for the First World War. It's what I use, but I cut it down a bit because obviously I'm doing 15mm, so you don't need as much detail on them as he used. It's on his blog, Roundwood's World. I think it's on the right hand side of the page in the links. I think there's a fairly good link to it somewhere. Ian Plaque Jam. Evening, your channel got me from 40k into trying Chain of Command. Excellent. I'm really enjoying getting stuck in over the last few weeks, researching and building specific tips. Chain Cocking 28. I'll come back to that 1 second. Very busy, fingers okay. Can get up early, always get up early. Running Champion Hill 2 with new scenery. Celebrating your birthday. Ah, happy birthday. Sorry I'm not there for it. Any tips for playing Chain of Command 28mm? Yeah, do it in 15. That'll be my tip. No, 28mm is fine. I don't know what kind of. I don't know what you mean by what kind of tips you want. How to play the game or how to deal with it. I think what I would do in the first instance is just use one of the lists or a couple of the lists out of the rules book itself. I don't think I'd push it too far forward too much until you've got a good couple of games under your belt, I think. I always find 28mm for Chain of Command a little bit too crowded on the tabletop, but plenty of people will play it in 28mm, so I'm probably the minority, not the majority. Retirement's exhausting. Good evening, Fred's Factorium. Let's have you on board. And yes, happy birthday, Dave, from all in chat. Not just Charles. Yeah, everybody always says when you retire you just get a lot busier. Can well imagine it. I do a lot of work in the past with still do with local archaeology groups and history groups, and they're always retirees. Do you have any ideas for sharps practice jump off point vignettes? That's a good question. I basically did some flag parties for mine. So a couple of generals on or officers on horseback, and then also a flag party with them. So because you rarely have the flags on the tabletop in sharp practice, so I thought, well, it's nice just to have them as jumping off points, and I mounted them on Flames of War large bases. A few of those kicking about from some of the Flames of War sets I've bought for other stuff, and yeah, so I just mounted them on those just to give them a bit of heft, and then just turn those into vignettes as well. So I've done it for the French and for the British, and I've got a Duke of Brunswick for the Brunswicks. That was my way of doing it. I just thought it looks a little bit more interesting, doesn't it, than a circle, basically. It doesn't take up a load of space, and then you can also actually use them for other games as well, you know, like as command bases and things if you really want to. Anybody else got any ideas on what they've done? Or do people just use the just a round circle or something. Because I like you know, you could always do things like little farm sets, scenery as well. Like you could have carts and horses and stuff, and loads of barrels and things like that. Like for the Second World War stuff, for jumping off points, I have in the past used crates and things, you know, like ammo crates and stuff like that. I know you wouldn't have them that far forward, but you could always go with something from the Sharp series. So Liz Hurley and Ishimi's now. That is a very good idea. And that would definitely be helping my deployment points, if you know what I mean. I certainly think I'm going to take a minute and have a think about Liz Hurley and Ishimi's. I think I'd do stuff like that. That's what I've done. And later, like a little, you know, like a load of carts and stuff piled up together. That would be nice, because then it just adds to the table as well, really. John Weischer, home from hospital. Thanks for the messages. Forgot to ask the surgeon for the cut off my femur for my dog. Lol. Oh, good. Glad you're out of the hospital, John. Good. It's good to know, and that you're on the mend as well. Thanks for the nice message in the group as well. Very much appreciated. I need a bigger brush than that. Actually, I bought a load of new brushes just the other day. I'm going to try some out. I just went to Amazon and found a load. Let's have a look. Brown Senior recently attended a massive cock game at the Newbury Historical Society, Stalingrad. Ooh, assaulting the tractor factory. It's bleeding on 3 tables, measuring 32 by 8 foot. Bloody hell. Picture's amazing. Excellent. I'd almost prefer a 15, but I've already got 3 platoons in 28, lol. That's fair enough. Wonder about the table crowding. If I was going with an extra infantry squad to support listing, yeah, it might get a bit crowded. I would have thought. I kind of think it gets a bit crowded anyway. But look, loads of people play it in 28mm quite happily, so you're not alone. And you know, if you look at the maps there, they're designed for 28mm figures, because the houses are so big on the maps in general. But with Liz Hurley, there would be no jump off. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I think maybe having like four sections in a platoon would be probably a little bit too much for 28mm. That said, we just played a game of a 15mm chain of command at the weekend, which was set in Singapore as part of the ongoing what's it called, the pint-sized campaign from WSS magazine. And I was a Japanese, and after the first game I thought, right, I'm going to really bulk out the Japanese, and I had 5 infantry sections, and that didn't seem too crowded. But again, you know, much smaller figures, but they kind of, you know, they still bunch up together, don't they? They're still within 4 inches of each other, so they're kind of pretty much together anyway. You went the other way to 6mm. Your eyes are already the way out. Don't worry about that. If you can paint lines and dots on 28mm figures, then you can paint 6mm figures. No problem. But yeah, I thought it was time for a clear out, because all my old brushes are so crap and knackered, and I have tried cleaning them several times with brush cleaner and stuff. And there were things I used for dry brushing and doing big lumps of painting and stuff. And I found these things for about £2 or £3 on Amazon, so I thought, right, I'll get myself 3 sets of them. Don't know how good they are, because it doesn't matter, because you know they're not the most perfect brushes, so it don't matter. They turned up the other day, so I was quite chuffed with that. Way faster to paint, just have to keep magnifying glasses on. Yeah, indeed. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing on this bad boy. I'm just trying to work out, the thing I'm trying to work out the most what to do with these is the weathering, and I'm gonna go with my usual route of doing the old grime mixture on it, but they don't look that grimy. That's the thing in photographs and stuff. They are quite clean houses, so I don't want to go overboard with the grime on them. But I do want to do some dry brushing first of all before I do anything else with these. So yeah, I'm just not. I've got to a point with the house as to what to do with it. Where do I go from here? Is the big question. And I don't know is the short answer. You know what you need? Pro art. So I've heard to right Yorkshire Game. I've got some pro art. These small ones, these tiny ones here. Look, pro art. Proline, pro art, proline. That's a pro art one. I got them from ADC Brushes. He did something like a massive bag of them. Pro art. There's another one. Did a big bag of them for about 15 quid at Vapnatag a few years ago. And when I was chatting to Ken there, he said, "Oh, have you seen them?" I said, "No, I hadn't seen them." So I went and I saw them, and I bought them. So I have got pro art, and I'm working my way through them as well. Agrax it up. Yeah, Agrax is a bit too dark. That's the problem. It's good, and it's good in places, but not good for what I need it for this. And I've already done the stonework on the base with Agrax, which I am dry brushing right now. But Agrax would just turn it brown. That's the thing. I don't want it a dirty, mucky brown. I want it to have a little bit of subtlety to it, but I don't want it to just be flat white either. But I'm going to Agrax the interior, because I've just painted that in the most basic colour. For this, I'm just doing the stonework, so I just want these to be stone. Evening decks. Don't worry about that. Used ABC brushes, good value. They are very good value. Second the party bag of Pro Art from ABC. Yes, it's well worth it. That's why I thought even if the brushes are crap and you get through them within a year or something, it doesn't really matter, because you've only paid 15 quid for them. But actually, they are pretty good brushes. So value like that, you can't beat it. That's what I reckon. Right, that's that bit done. I want to dry brush this mud. I kind of want to try to bring it to life a little bit. What I might do is when it's actually done is go back over the windows with some gloss varnish, just to give them a wee bit of shine. I think that's the way to do it. I've got this groundwork here. I'm going to cover this anyway, but some of it will be uncovered, I think. I'm going to put some bushes and stuff around this as well. What I need to do is get a couple of little beads and make some flower pots out the front of it. Make it look nice and homely, you know. Dirty down moss effect in the houses. I've tried it myself, but the rust effect is great. Yeah, that rust stuff is good. I don't know if moss. I like. I've got grime wash, which is from Florrie Washers, which is very good, because the way it works is it's a clay wash, so you slap it all over, and then when it's dried, if you just get a wet cloth, you can wipe it off, so it just leaves the recesses, and that's generally what I do with a lot of my houses. But this one, just because it's a little bit, they are quite clean houses, these, in real life, and I know they're in the middle of a war zone, but you know, it wasn't Stalingrad. It's Singapore, for God's sake. So yeah, it's I don't want to make them too dirty, but then I don't want them to look too pristine either. It's a nightmare, I tell ya. Bloody nightmare. Have I ever tried weathering powder pigments such as Geek Villain Cell? I have, Simon. I've used them in some of my videos, in fact. In a video about weathering a house, building and weathering houses, I use the Geek Villain ones. Nice. And I've got some here, right in front of me in fact. Oh there, modelling pigment. Which one's this one? Dark soil. I've got a dark soil and I've got a farmyard one somewhere. I even did a review of them. A review video of them. See, this is a test to see who actually watches my videos or not. So look, what we're saying. Didn't think they would be that mucky. These are colonial houses, so very well off types. Yeah, exactly. It's all keeping appearances things. Yeah, that's the thing. British way of fighting is still good doing it. Absolutely. Well, that's the point. Yes, they are. They are like. They're not scruffy places. They're well-to-do houses. But the problem is, if you just paint them in a flat colour, flat white, they just look white, and it just looks wrong to me. That's a wargamer. That's my problem. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Just give them a bit of a dry brush with this silver grey. That's really brought out the windows. I like that. Happy with that. But yeah, I'll do minimal weathering on them. I guess the thing with terrain is people don't ever look at it anyway, do they? You put a load of effort in and no one ever looks at it. They're all too busy looking at the command figures. Have you tried an off-white or a pale canvas colour for whitewash? Potentially, that might work. Well, I think I've just hit on the thing itself here by just slightly dry brushing the black in this very light grey, just to emphasise it a little bit. I think that is actually doing wonders for what I wanted. I think I've just hit on it, and you were all here to see it. You witnessed it. So what were we saying? Where we at? I take it you're going to keep the mansion as terrain you can enter. Yeah. Unless you're the guards armoured, Colin, you can basically ignore uniform, wear khaki bags and grey sweats. That's more like the Hereford hooligans. They're the ones that can ignore the uniform. Yes, I am. It is an enterable house. Pops even on your phone screen. Oh yeah, good. Yes, so it is working. Oh, too much there. I'm a bit excited. Yeah, the thing is, I was talking to Dean about this as part of our game the other day. The thing is with wargamers, we're all absolutely desperate to get into buildings and get your figures in a building and get that +1 defence. But I was actually chatting to my mate who used to be sergeant in the Marines. When I was out working with him at Otterburn over the summer, and we were looking down onto a farm on the other side of the valley, and I said to him, so if you were to attack that farm, how would you go about it, and would you occupy the buildings? You're just doing some Belgian Congo bungalows. Need to still 6 tone mixing the shades a bit. Need 6, yeah, you definitely need to mix those shades up. And I said to him, how, would you if you captured that farm, would you go and make an emplacement in it and sit in there and wait for the enemy to attack? He said, well, what we would do is we'd go down to it, we'd attack it, we'd clear it out, but then once we cleared it out, we'd go and dig in elsewhere, because the enemy then knows that you're in the building, and also it's just a massive target sitting there for them to be firing at. So why would you put yourself in that position? And we as wargamers do the exact opposite. Like, oh, there's a house, I'm going to pile in a house. And you really shouldn't. So don't. So I was talking to Dean about it, but he immediately put all his stuff into a house and then just couldn't fire out of it because you can only fire 2 men out of a out of a window in chain of command. So it couldn't actually. It kind of limits your scope completely. Right, that has definitely turned out a lot better. I like that. I'm happy with that. I'm going to do a bit more weathering on that roof. Don't tell me those lugs footnote. Absolutely, those lugs are fucking brilliant. I shouldn't swear, I'll get demonetized. Yes, those lugs work really, really well. They were. I don't know how hard they were to make there, Richard, but they certainly really improved the thing. Very proud of your lugs. You should be. They are good lugs. As lugs go, they are good lugs. Right, I'm going to try and scrape some of this white out of here, which is not a sentence you'll hear very often, I don't think. Tactical note for Crackcon there. Only 2 per window. Absolutely. A shade of how not to be seen. Exactly. Do not get yourself seen. The problem with that story is you have Dean firing out of the house. That doesn't sound like bayonet charge Dean to me. Well, I was trying to run across open ground and he was actually hammering me with a goddamn Bren gun out of the house. So it kind of went against what I was saying. But I was also shooting his men and killing them as well very quickly. And this time Dean didn't do a bayonet charge. He had to endure several from me. But yes, old Dean the bayonet charger. Unfortunately for him, didn't live up to his name. Let me just go in here. So yes, tactical advice there for Crackcon. Do not get in your buildings. You take a KV2 to Extreme Home Makeover in BA. Finish your evening. 51 figures prepared today. Excellent. Really some cheat codes to take on Dave at ADLG. You guys may know them as the rules. Evening nugget. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Dave playing by the rules. That's not going to happen. They'll probably tell you you're using a different set, different edition. Is that for Thursday night? Is it, Doug? I won't be down there, as I was saying to Dave earlier. I'll be in that London. But Dex, actually, as you're here, do you fancy some chain of command in a week? Not this week, a week after. Crack on with Kursk. I can't remember if we discussed it or not. If we'd said we would or we wouldn't. Can't remember what we said. Just neatening this thing up now. What we're saying, IBM seems to pin, but yes, it's you're penalised for firing out of windows and stuff like that, or you can only fire a certain amount out of the window, that kind of thing. I mean, you're certainly in chain of command anyway. Can't remember what it is in IMB Shotman, but it'll be something similar. But it's it's why soldiers dig in the garden. You clear the house, make sure there's nobody in it, and then don't occupy it again, because it's just a massive target and nobody wants that. Kurskine, happy to, yeah. Really like late war German cavalry from Great War Minis. Did they see much action? I think there was some German cavalry stuff kicking about in the 1918 offensives, but not so much. It was more on the eastern fronts. There was bits and pieces of it. You'd be better off getting the British cavalry, because they were used throughout the war, even on the Somme. But also remember in the First World War as well, cavalry were used mostly as more like mobile infantry than the traditional cavalry. They did do a few charges here and there, of course, but in general. Colin says, I wonder if the entrenching tool has helped with the style of tactics before the compact shovels. Must have been much harder to build cover and concealment. Yeah, I think so. I think you're probably right. The soldiers, although they were in the compound, they weren't actually in the building. They were, you know, up against the walls and things. Because again, you just don't have a huge amount of space to fire out of windows. And even less so when you see wars. Yes, me too. The only reason I went to see it is because two of my mates were the military advisors on it. I just wanted to see their names and the titles at the end. So one of the guys I went to Belgium with the other week, he's got some great stories from it. I'm not going to tell you because they're probably libelous. But he did work with Steven Spielberg a couple of times, and spoke to him, and apparently wanted the film as well. Because he was there, he was actually advising on the cavalry side of things. I'm just trying to cover up some of this gunk that I got very liberal with before on the bottom of the thing. I might put a little bit of dust around the bottom of this just for the sake of it. I think this is actually quite close to completion now. Now I've done that bit of dry brushing. I'm quite chuffed with that. I'll sleep tonight. Don't know about that. Both sides of the issue were expert at throwing up improvised earthworks. European observers were very impressed. Well, I'm sure they were. They also had access to a lot of trees as well. So whether they were digging them or whether they were actually building them are two different things, aren't they? What have I got here? Certainly were, David. There was 9 months of trench warfare around Petersburg. What have we got here? Should I use this sandy colour on the interior just for the laugh? Just to mix it up a bit? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go mad. So this is the flurry washers I was talking about. So they're clay wash, and you basically shove it all on like this. Just paint it on, and then once it's dry, just get yourself a cloth, just dampen it down, and then just wipe away the wash itself, and it leaves the marks in the corners, so it can go on quite messy. It's a really nice wash. Our dragoons have snowmobiles now, so it's kind of full circle. Yeah, there you go, mobile infantry. We say too late when bad years ago. It's quite a nice old colour as well, this brown actually. Right, I'll do that, and I'm going to do this one here as well, the walls on this one. So I'm not too fussed about the interiors, I'm just doing them pretty basically and quick. I just block colour in them, so I can't be bothered doing too much. A few years ago I probably would have put wallpaper in these. Not now though. I guess there was lots of soldiers with practical experience at woodcraft. Yes, absolutely. Very true. When it's your everyday survival, and for building and for heating and cooking and all those things, yeah, you definitely need to know how to use an axe. Right. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna leave that at that, and I'm gonna leave it at that for tonight as well. And say thank you very much everybody for watching. As always, cheers for tuning in. If you haven't hit it already, do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed as well, and I'll leave it at that and say thanks again for watching, and I will see you in whenever the next Paints and Chat is, and the next Storm of Steel video. I don't have light switches, only joking. I wish. Nice chat. Laura actually doesn't do a 100 range anymore. No. Thanks for the stream and tips. No worries. See you all later, everybody, and I will see you in the next one.